Hi guys, this is recursion episode 2. So in this video, you are going to make 3 pictures from left one to the right one. So the left one is drawing a circle. The second one is drawing rectangle. The last one is for drawing trees. And all these things were drawn by recursion function. As I know, you have known the concept of recursion, and how to declare the recursion function and how to call it. So from the first one, let's tackle. Okay, let's draw this one first. So let me share the strategy how to draw this function. So let's say the center of the biggest one is x comma y. So here, this is the center for the biggest one. So after drawing a biggest one, it has to draw 2 small circles. So if this point is x, what about this point? And this this is the radius for the biggest circle. Radius. And what about this one? This should be x minus radius divided by 2, right? This x point should be x minus radius 2. What about the right one? This should be x plus radius divided by 2, right? So if you know the center for the bigger one, you can know the center for each smaller circles with this simple expression. So you have to keep in mind this thing, and let's convert these things to the processing code. So I've made the setup function. So camp size will be 600, and there is a no loop function. So if you call no loop function, this will make the draw function run only one time. That means no loop, right? So in draw function, let's make the recursion function to draw those images. So it doesn't have any return value. The function name is draw circles. So all the circles has the same y coordinate. So you don't need y coordinate. It's just static, constant. So you have to give the center of the x, and then you have to give the radius 2, and you have to give the level parameter. So this parameter is for controlling how many times we will call the draw circles. So we'll see. And we have to draw the circle using ellipse x comma. So y coordinate is the center of the y, right? So height divided by 2 will be y. And how about the radius? Time 2 will be diameter. Time 2 will be diameter. So with this statement, we can draw the bigger one. And after drawing a circle, you have to draw 2 small circles inside the circle. So you have to call draw circles. This is for left circle, right? Draw circles. This is for right circle, right? So when you call draw circle, you have to give the x, right? The center for the circle. What about that? So if this is x, the left one has to x minus radius divided by 2 for the x. So you have to give x minus divided by 2 for the x. Y is same. So this is for the x, and then how about radius? Radius should be divided by 2. Divided by 2. And what of level? So in each call, we are gonna call with minus 1. I'll tell you later. And for the right one, this should be x plus radius divided by 2. And same radius size, and then same level 1. So if you call the draw circles with this, x should be center of the width, right? The radius should be divided by 2. And if you give the phi for the level, this phi means please call the draw circles in 5 depths. So it will begin with 5. In each recursive call, it will be -1. So 5, 4, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0, -1, right? So you have to set the terminating condition. As I told you, that's the basis condition, right? So if level, this parameter is larger than 1, then we are gonna call draw circles recursively. So that's the terminating condition. So let's say, oh yeah, I think I'm done. So after setup, the draw function will call draw circles. So draw circle function is a recursive call. This is the basis condition, because in each call the level variable will be -1. So I think I'm done. Let's run it. See, we have the same one. So when you call the draw circles in draw function, if you make it bigger, the number of depths of recursive call will be deeper and deeper. Let's see, right? So this is traditional recursive function calls. So in each function, it will do what it has to do, and it has to check the draw recursive function call will be stopped or not. If it is true, it will draw something recursively. So that's it for this one. Okay, let's try to draw a second thing. So this thing is kind of mimic. You try to draw the Mondrian's artwork. So try to mimic the Mondrian's artwork. So have you ever seen the Mondrian's artworks? Some of these were the artwork. Is artwork of Mondrian's. Let's see something. So this Mondrian artwork has something special, right? So it has its own colors: white, yellow, and red, black, and blue, and thick lines. So I'm gonna try to mimic these things with processing. And first of all, let's try to draw the left one first. What about this one? So I ask the program to draw rectangle, and it will draw the rectangle, and it will set the center point randomly inside the rectangle. And with this point, the left one will do the same thing for the left top rectangle, and it will set the center point randomly, and it will draw the left top rectangle and right bottom rectangle too. For the right bottom rectangle, same thing. It will set some point randomly, and it will do the same thing for the left top rectangle and for the right top rectangle too. And each call, it will do the same thing recursively. So actually, you need to do all the job for the right top corner and left bottom corner too. But it's for you as your homework or kind of exercise practice. After drawing this simple one, we are gonna give the color to try to mimic the Mondrian's artwork. So let's do this. After drawing this one, I'm gonna clear this one first, and then let's do it. So in a set function, we open the canvas, and we'll draw the stroke, thick stroke, right? Stroke weight should be around 5. And let's use no fill for the simple one. And let's make the recursive function here. Void draw rectangles. So to draw rectangles, in processing, you have to give 4 numbers, right? The first 2 numbers is the left top corners, and the second and fourth will be width and height. But for this function, we are going to give 2 points. So 1 point for the left top corner, the other point for the right bottom corner. It's better for us to make a recursive program. So I'm going to give x1, y1 for the left top corner point, and float x2, y2 will be the right bottom corner. And as usual, we have to give level parameter, right? So this draw rectangle should draw the rectangle and then call itself recursively, right? So you need to use rect function from x1, y1, and in this rect processing function needs the width and height. So we have to give x2 minus x1 for the width, y2 minus 1 for the height, right? So this is for drawing the rectangle. After drawing the rectangle, you have to call draw rectangles recursively. So I'm gonna call draw rect for the left top corner and call draw rect once again for right bottom corner, right? So you have to get the random point inside the rectangle. So I'm gonna declare a variable here, center x. It should be random between what? Between x2 minus, no, x1, x2. So this cx variable has the random point between x1 and x2. And let's do the same thing for the y coordinate. y1, y2. And then you have to make a basis condition, right? So let's use the L variable. If L is larger than 1, I'm gonna call this one, right? So that's it. So this is basis condition. So you have to give the parameter for each recursive call. So what about that? Let's see the picture once again. So let's see this picture. So this point should be cx and cy, right? Then the first rectangle, the first left top rectangle should be x1, y1 for the left top corner and cx, cy for the right bottom corner. How about the right bottom? So for the right bottom rectangle, cx, cy should be the first point and x2, y2 should be the right bottom corner. So let's call this thing. So let's leave this here. So for the left top corner, that should be x1, y1 should be the left top corner, cx, cy should be the right bottom corner. And for the level 1, L minus 1. And what about the right bottom? Right bottom should be cx and cy for the left top corner. And x2, y2 should be right bottom corner. L minus 1 for the level. I think that's it. So let's clear the screen and let's run it. So I didn't call the draw rect, right? Draw rect 0, 0 with height. And what about level? I'm gonna give level 6. So let's run it. Oh, I didn't do the no loop. Or let's see the frame rate. Yeah, just 1. And before drawing, let's clear the background with white. So it seems it worked, but it's not pretty. I think we need to change the random point because this x1, y1, so this random function will give a random number between x1 and y2, right? But if the random number 6 is really close to x1 or x2, it's not good, right? So let's do it. For temporary, I'm gonna plus 2 for the x1, y1 to minus 2 and minus 2 for the x2 and y2. Keep in mind, this is just for temporary, because if you add number 2 to the x1, sometimes it will be bigger than x2. That's the problem. So this is just for temporary. If you want to use this kind of technique, you have to check the first number is smaller than the second number, right? So I'm gonna say once again, this is just for temporary. Let's change the depth smaller. This is so smaller, right? Sometimes, yeah. So I made the simple one. So we need to give the color to this one. At first, we have to set the color canvas. So you remember the first array. So this C variable has the color. So the first color should be red, and the second one is blue. And what about the yellow? This is for yellow, and this is white. So this is color palette. So in draw rectangles, you have to give the color, right? So when you draw the rectangle, you have changed the color. So let's use fill function. So you have to set the color randomly. So see bracket something, that's the color, right? So you have to give the index randomly. So random c.length. So C is the color parameter which I declared here. So C color is the length of the array. So random C color length will gives us 0 to length, right? And you have to convert this float number into integer using int function. So let me clear a little more. So this is random function, and this int function will convert to the float number into int, and the number will be the index for the color palette. So after changing the color palette, we're gonna fill rectangle, right? And after calling each one, so let's, I think I'm done. So let's run. I think level 5 is too big, so let's change the number into level 4. So what about this one? Sometimes some rectangle is too small, right? So for that you need to change this code as your own later. I think it might work. It's not pretty. Yeah, this is the end of the rectangle random version. Let's draw these trees. First of all, we need to draw only one tree, right? So we are going to draw a tree in recursively. So how to draw this one? So it has to draw the branch, and then you need to branch two small branches. In each branch, you have to recall the branching function, right? Recursively. So at the end of the call, it has to draw flowers. It seems too a little complicated, but let's try. I'm not sure I can do this thing. So if you click the canvas, so it will redraw the trees randomly. So let's go to the draw function. So first of all, let's initialize the background first. And then the stroke weight will be starting with the number 10. Actually, as it grows, as you go to the height, the stroke weight will be thinner, right? So I can do this with the scale transform functions. And let's start from the bottom using translate function. Translate width divided by 2 is the center of the x, height is the bottom. So after this translate function, this bottom point will be the center of our axis, right? And let's make the tree function. So I will call it is the branch function, and it has to have the parameter for the height of the trees. And then in each stroke, if it is final, if it is not final, so level is larger than 0, I'm going to call the branch functions recursively. How to do this? Please look at this carefully. So first of all, so as I told you right now, with the translate function, so here is the center origin, right? Origin of the canvas. So it has to draw a branch, and it has to translate to end of the branch. So this is now the new origin of the canvas, and it has to rotate a little. Rotate a little for the left branch and for the right branch too, right? So let's call that one. If level is 0, 1, so we need to draw the line from where 0, 0 is the origin, and 0, minus height divided by 10. It's kind of just a constant. So this function will draw the biggest branch here, right? And after drawing it, we need to translate to the end point of the branch. So we are going to translate 0, height divided by 10. So what it means? So the line will be drawn, and we will move the origin to the another end of the line. So here, this is new origin. So after drawing the line, we have to draw the left branch and right branch, right? So let's do it. So for the left branch, we have to rotate positive number, kind of 0.3. Sometimes you can use the rotation rate and angles with a random variable. So if the parameter for the rotate is positive, the coordinate, the axis will be rotate clockwise. Line. So this is x, this is kind of y. So if you give the positive numbers, the coordinate will be rotate clockwise. So this is new coordinate. This is old. This is new, right? After rotating clockwise, if you draw the vertical one, that's for the right branch. This is for the right branch. So after rotating, so let's use scale transform function too. Let's scale down into 70%. Then the tree's thickness will be smaller. And let's use push matrix too to save, and call branch level -1. So this is for the right branch, and we have to pop matrix too. And then let's draw the left branch too. That's same. So let's copy all this function call for here. So the left branch, you have to change the number into minus. Let's say 0.5. And then scale. Oh no, so for the right branch, we rotate 0.3, right? So for the left branch, we have to rotate double. So let's change it to double. And we already scaled down, so we don't need the scale function. So here, after push matrix, branch level -1, and pop matrix. That's it. Let's try to run this thing. Yeah, I didn't call that. So after translate, let's call branch 5. Yeah, if you run this code, you can see this one. But this thing is too steady, too simple. So we need to give some randomness more, right? Let's compare these two things. So in the left image, all the branches length is same, right? It's getting lesser, 70%, 70%, 70%. But sometimes you can have different branch size here. So let's give a little more randomness here. So after drawing the line, I'm gonna have one more if statement here. If random 1 is less than 0.6. So what is this? So random 1 gives us random number 0 to 1, right? So randomly. But so this if state means in 60% this body will be run. Do you get it? So this random number will generate 0 to 1. So this number is less than 0.6. That's the 60%. So in 60%, we'll draw the branching, 2 branch line. And else, in other case, let's just draw the 1 branch here without minimizing, without minus the level 1. So I'm gonna just call level here. So with this statement, some branch will be longer than others. Let's see the effect. See, some branch will be longer than others, right? In this way, let's give more randomness to these pictures. So after drawing one field, and so this statement is here, right? So if level is 0 larger than 0, that's the condition for the recursive call. Else, we have to draw the trees at the end of the branch, right? So let's draw the stroke flowers with no stroke, and then let's use some kind of pinky colors. Sharp FF, BF, F9. You can choose with your own, and let's give transparency, half, and let's use ellipse function to draw. So after drawing the edge, the end of the edge is the center. So we can draw the ellipse at 0, 0 and random size. You can change these numbers randomly too. And let's change the stroke function stroke into 0 for drawing the edges. I think that's it. See, we have the trees. Then what I have to do, we need to draw several trees, right? So let's do these things. So let's go to the draw function. So this 2 line is for drawing 1 tree, right? So we have to use for statement. For int I equal 100, that's the x coordinate, and if I is less than with minus 100, and let's give the x points increment randomly. So xi plus assignment random 20 100. You'll see later what this number means. And so to draw each trees, you have to store the transform matrix, push matrix, and pop matrix. Between those 2 matrix functions, you have to translate the into I and height. That is for this one. So let's draw this one. And after translating, let's call the branch functions in 5 and pop matrix. So let's delete this one too. Maybe you can give these numbers in random, 4 to 6 or 4 to 7, kind of. I think I'm done. Branch. What am I missing? Branch, branch. So where is the random? Oh yeah, I have to give int number to the branch. So I think I'm done. Control Alt to run. See, you can see the pictures. Okay, this is the end of this video clip. So I recommend you to use recursive function to draw something. So in this case, you need your imagination. Bye.